Hey, and welcome to my second Q&A video. This one is kind of impromptu because I kind of just got two very big, very heavy questions on Tumblr, and one of them actually specifically asks that I answer it in a video, and the other one is about video making. So I was like, hey, I'll just make it into a video. Don't mind my hair. For some reason, it doesn't want to sit like bangs today. It just wants to do this other thing. I don't know what's happening, but I just let my hair do whatever it wants to do. Okay, so my first question was actually sent to me anonymously, and it says, can you make a video talking about how you have changed from when you started high school and to where you are now in life, and how you have changed as a person with interests, friendships, and fashion-wise? What a loaded question. Holy moly. It's one of those questions that makes me like sit back and recontemplate my whole life. I was very different. I don't know why, and it sounds like a sad thing, but I promise you, it wasn't a sad thing. I kind of felt like because I was already the girl in the wheelchair, I already stuck out, so I had this like mentality of I need to blend in. I need to not do things to make me more noticeable than I already am. So I started high school, and if you looked at like my fashion sense or any pictures that exist from back then, I don't think there even are any pictures, but if there were, jeans and like an array of t-shirts in different colors. That was all I wore, and I wasn't in any clubs when I was in grade 9, and I didn't really have a lot of friends. Like I had people that I talked to at school. You know what it's like in high school, right? Like you have people that you talk to, but they're not really friends. Like I didn't hang out with any of them after school, and you know, it's that sort of thing. Like I would sit by them in class, and that was really it. It wasn't really until I got into grade 10 that I made like some really solid friends, and I actually still have a couple of them today, which is really, really nice. So once I started to have like that really awesome group of friends, I started to kind of come into my own more, and I started joining like clubs and doing more adventurous things with fashion. As I've said before, I was like really into the like intense girly sort of fashion, which I still love, you know? I just kind of adapted it to my age a little bit more. So I was really like pink and frilly and pearls and that sort of thing, and florals. And I still love all those things today. I'm just, because I'm older and I work in like more of a business world now, I know how to like sort of tone it so it's a little more professional and a little more mature than the sort of, it wasn't really a Lolita style, because Lolitas are a little bit, it's more of a put together outfit, whereas mine was more of a mess. But I still don't regret it, you know what I mean? Because those years of like playing around with my fashion, having days where I was wearing all pink and flowers, and having days where I was wearing like all black, that's how it's sort of all come together to become my fashion sense now. So that was a really big shift in high school, was my fashion, and it did that, and like my personality really did come as a result of making really good friends. And then I look at sort of my later years in high school, and it was really cool because I had this like, I had two groups of people that I hung out with, and they were like the really, really smart kids with like the really solid, like the hearts of gold, but they were kind of quieter people. And then I hung out with people who, you know, were louder and crazier and did like the fun, crazy stuff. And it was cool because it was like I was just as good friends with both groups, but I got such a different experience when I was with either one. And I think that sort of compiled into who I am today, you know? I'm kind of both. And that's something I actually really like about myself, is that I could hang out with either end of the spectrum, if you will, and I had a lot of fun with that sort of stuff. Unfortunately, if I'm being honest, one of the biggest differences between like grade 9 Abby and Abby now is I may not have been influenceable in my fashion sense or my taste in things, but what I said and what I did was 100% influenceable, and I honestly feel awful and like disgusted with myself that I used to be that way. Like, I live in fear that someone's gonna go through my Twitter feed and find a tweet that I haven't deleted yet. I tried like a cajillion of those delete all tweets things, but they never work for me. They're gonna find a tweet from like 6 years ago, and I will have said something terrible, like something that was totally influenced by the sort of people that I was around at school. Not that they were bad, but it was just, you know, when you're that young and you're that impressionable, you say things to try to make friends and to try to fit in, and it's wrong. It's not right, and I know that now. Now I'm a strong enough person that I would never ever do that. But even things like using the word gay as a slur and using it like as a synonym to something being stupid, which is terrible. I would never do that now, and I call people out for doing that now, but I am consciously aware that I did that, and I feel awful about it, and I really don't think that I ever truly meant it. I was just being stupid, and that is why I see kids say that sort of stuff now, and I try to tell them as like sort of nicely as I can how wrong that is, because I wish somebody had done that to me when I was younger, because I look back now and I'm so embarrassed and I feel so terribly, and now I feel like it's my mission to help educate and to help stop that. And the worst part is I was even like mentally mean towards disabled people, and I am disabled. Like, how terrible is that? And there was so much like internalized misogyny, and it is terrible. So my views on the whole world is totally different now from when it was back then, and I'm much less impressionable. And I think that's part of the reason why I love like Taylor Swift so much, because she's had her like feminist awakening, if you will. And so people on Tumblr all the time take like quotes from songs like Better Than Revenge and put it beside lyrics from songs now, and they sort of counteract each other, you know? Like, she was saying terrible things about the other girl back then, and now she says terrible things about the guy for cheating on her in the first place, which is the right thought process. But when we're young and we're stupid and we're influenced by the terrible world around us, we say those stupid stuff. You know what I mean? So that is probably the biggest difference, and I feel so terribly about it. And if someone were to ever call me out about it, like, you said this terrible thing 7 years ago, I don't even know what I would say, because it'd be like, you're right, I said it. I have nothing, I can't deny it, because I did say it, and I'm so sorry. I totally feel different about it now, and I would argue with that past self of me if I could, 100%, and that's why I've always fully believed that people can change. But I also think it depends on, like, sort of like, per case situation, like, depending on the age and that sort of thing, but I would never hold somebody accountable to something that they said or did, like, when they're 25, to something that they said or did when they were like 12, because I know of all people what that's like, and I know how wrong I was and how much I hate that I did that stuff, you know? So yeah, that would be, I know that wasn't really part of the question, but that would be probably the biggest difference in me from like when I started high school to where I am now. This person also specifically mentioned interests, and honestly I don't think my interests have ever changed, like from the time I was 6 because I still only watch like magical girl shows and anime and stuff like that. And yeah, the like real life people shows that I watch, I think I would watch them back then too. You know, I grew up around Hercules, and I watch Xena now, and I would watch Once Upon a Time when I was younger, and Supernatural probably would have scared the bejesus out of me when I was younger, but you know what I mean? I still think I would like the story as much. So I don't really know, per se, if my interests have really changed, which is kind of a cool thing, you know, because I change as a person or whatever, and I fall into, like, different trends and different this and different that, but I have my core things of things that I like, and that's how I am. Lastly, you mentioned friendships, and it's different because I feel more, like, comfortable with Abby now than I ever did before. So it was almost like before I wanted to have a ton of friends, and I almost wanted them all around me all the time to almost validate me as a person, because like I said in my Dear Me video, I was always trying so hard to make sure everybody else liked me all the time, even if I didn't like me, right? So it was like I wanted them to validate that they liked me. That was being like a good person, and now I almost don't care as much. So the friends that I have around me now are better because they are truer, because they know me truer. It's nothing against the people that I've had as friends in the past, but it's everything against me. And so these people that are my friends now, they know like real Abby, and they've seen real Abby say like really mean things and really terrible things, and they're still my friends. And so I really, really respect that. And these are like the people that I have in my life now are the kind of people that I want to still be my friends, you know, 20 years down the line, because I genuinely love them. So I think that's a really big friendship thing, because it's like I have maybe less people that I am friends with, but it's better because I don't need them to validate myself. I need them to just be my friends. That almost doesn't sound like it makes sense, but I hope it does. And the other question I got was, you know, a lot of, hey, Abby, what's up? And in the middle, they asked me, how do you find the confidence required to make videos? This person says they were thinking about starting their own channel and were having trouble overcoming their shyness. Well, for me, it's kind of cheating, because I did go to school for broadcasting, right? So stuff on TV and stuff in front of cameras and stuff all the time. So you really had to get used to seeing yourself. I also used to do like talent shows and cabarets and stuff a lot when I was in high school and elementary school and all that. So I've had to get used to seeing and hearing myself a lot, even if I don't like it. You know, nobody really likes hearing themselves or seeing themselves, but you just have to get used to it. So my best advice for getting the confidence in yourself to camera is talk into a mirror. You're going to feel so weird, you know, talking to yourself. Because at the moment, like, I'm talking to you, but I'm really actually just talking to a black box, right? So what you need to do is you need to sit in front of a mirror and have a real conversation with yourself, like looking yourself in the eyes. So pick a topic, something that you could go on for like hours, like whether it's Sailor Moon headcanons, or you want to pick a political topic, or like literally anything, and just sit and fully talk to yourself. And you're going to feel so weird. But that is how you familiarize yourself with yourself. You need to be able to see yourself in the mirror in order to familiarize yourself with your body and how you move and that sort of thing. I also really highly recommend either, like, if you're just looking into doing, like, podcasts or something, talking to yourself like that and recording it. Or if you're looking into doing videos, you need to set it up like this, like you're recording a vlog, but even if you don't intend to actually ever upload it anywhere, it's really good to have that video footage that you can look back at after and go, I did this thing and I didn't like it, and I did that thing and I didn't like it. So that is my advice for overcoming shyness when it comes to vlogging, is you have to vlog. You have to watch yourself do it. And if you look at, who's someone big on the internet? Markiplier. If you look at Markiplier's very first videos, they are so much more, like, he was never really awkward, but they're more awkward and he doesn't know what he's doing as they are now, because now he's been doing it for long enough that he knows what he's doing and he's familiar with himself, with his audience, with a camera. He's familiar with the whole sort of video making experience. So that's what I'm saying. So your first couple videos are going to be way awkward. I've started and stopped a YouTube channel about 3 times now. This one's stuck. But I watch the old videos because I have them on my computer and they're just so much more awkward, you know? So yeah, I digress a little bit. That's my advice, is you need to just do it. Criticize yourself. Don't ask anybody else to do it yourself. And even if you watch it and you're like freaking out because you hate it, you know what I mean? Like, everybody's going to look at something and be like, I hate looking at myself, or I hate hearing myself. The more you do it, the more comfortable with it you're going to become. So yeah, that's my advice. Those 2 questions were kind of very, very long answers, but that's what I got. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!